And right now, the only reason we have not started yet is because my one brother is still driving here, and he just got off the thruway, so we're trying to wait for him, but we're not wanting to hold things up. So it was a difficult decision, and if you could just be patient for a few more minutes, we're going to try to wait for him.
We will socialize.
Okay, here we go. We're finally getting started. All right, thanks for your patience today. And I just wanted to greet each of you. I really appreciate you making the time to be here today. Thank you for coming to help remember and give thanks for the life of our mother, Elaine Pragle. It would both please her and embarrass her to know that she has drawn so much attention today. As much as she liked a good party, she preferred not to be the center of attention. Today's festivities starts with some thank yous. Thanks to those of you who came a distance to be here today. We have faces here from Mom's hometown of Wayland, New York, as well as places that she has worked in the past, such as Maison Management, the Rochester Housing Authority. Her one and only sibling, Joan, is here from Illinois with her husband, Bill, and Joan's two sons. Mike came all the way from Texas with some of his family, and Randy from Illinois is here with his family. Mike's son, Ross, is kindly playing the bagpipes. I wish you had just kept going there a little bit. I needed to catch my breath. So thank you, Ross. And I'd like to do a little shout out to those who are viewing from a distance on live stream from such places as Florida. She has a good college friend in Florida, and then California and Washington State. She has a granddaughter, Kim, in Washington State. Many thanks to my husband, Scott, for offering his graphic design talents to create the invitations and the programs which we ran out of today for today's service. So thank you for sharing the programs. I'd like to thank our brother Chris and his wife Elaine. Yes, folks, in case you didn't know it, there are two Elaines. Two Elaine Pragles. We have Elaine Sr. and Elaine Jr. Chris and Elaine not only helped arrange for us to gather in the church today, but for the past 10 years have helped to care for Mom after her stroke, which compromised her vision and driving. Now, in reality, a church would not have been our mom's first choice for her memorial. There's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, they refuse to put the Yankee games on the big screen, and they don't serve alcohol. But nonetheless, if you can stand to hang around a little bit longer, please come to the refreshments afterwards. We got a bunch of food and sweets and some Yankee-themed balloons. Now, many of you here today know our mom in some kind of special way, and you have contributed to her happiness and fulfillment at some point during her life. I have a giveaway table set up in the back, and we encourage you to please come and take some mementos of Elaine's. There's plenty of Yankee memorabilia to go around for all. I am not taking it back home with me, please. And also, as an added surprise treat, we have some of our mom's famous Christmas cookies to hand out today. Yes, and there are many of them, so you must, even if you can't stay, you have to come and take some cookies, because again, I'm not putting them in my freezer. It's a very special limited edition. I'd like to thank my cookie elf helpers, Shirley, Mitty, Georgie, Ann, and Valerie, who helped make over 200 Christmas cookies on the weekend that it was 85 degrees. If you haven't figured it out already, today is a little bit of a non-traditional ceremony. For starters, who else can get the former New York Yankees shortstop to attend her funeral services? Derek Jeter has been around since our mom's working days at Rochester Housing Authority on Main Street, and he was a gift to my mom in celebration of her giving up her many years of cigarette smoking. Now, my mom has kept Derek in her bedroom for all these years. Little does his current wife know, but my mom has literally been sleeping with Derek Jeter since 1997. All right. Today's program is meant to focus on things that our mom loved. If one was to make a list of bullet points to highlight the things that she was proud of or that brought her joy, the list would sound something like this: her children, her grandchildren, the New York Yankees, not in that order necessarily, reading books, and more books, using proper English, grammar, and spelling. She was a grammar Nazi. I know that may not be politically correct to use that word, but she was. Her friendships from work, high school, and college. Also on the list would be the New York Yankees, biggie bags from Wendy's, ordering stuff from QVC for her children, whether they wanted it or not, going to the Stratford Festival in Canada with her college English major friends to watch Shakespearean plays, organizing her Wayland High School reunions, the New York Yankees, having lunch with her friends, organizing work picnics or happy hours. Also on the list, baking Christmas cookies and handing them out to friends and family, traveling to go on trips for work or conferences, and you guessed it, yes, Yankee baseball games, eating cheesecake, chocolate chip cookies, snacks ordered from QVC, or any other food item that did not have vitamin K in it. She also enjoyed playing board games with her girlfriends, Eugenia, Linda, and Kathleen, watching Jeopardy, going out to eat at the Red Lobster, or any other place for that matter, buying presents for her grandchildren, and the New York Yankees. So today, the readings were selected with our mom in mind. During today's service, there will be an opportunity for you to share any personal memories that you might feel moved to share. We have a microphone on this side, a microphone on that side. You probably already shared all your memories while you were waiting for the last half hour, but if you would like to share some, we will have microphones available. And with that, Bill Schutmel is going to come up and start with a reading from Scripture. Bill is my mom's cousin from Ohio, and he's here today with his wife, Janelle. Thanks.
A reading from the Psalms, chapter 56. I praise God for what he has promised me. I praise the Lord for what he has promised. I trust in God, so why should I be afraid? What can mere mortals do to me? I will fulfill my vows to you, O God, and will offer a sacrifice of thanks for your help. For you have rescued me from death. You have kept my feet from slipping. So now I can walk in your presence, O God, in your life-giving light. The life and times of Elaine Pragle. Elaine was born in Wayland, New York, to Eddie and Marion Griffin. Elaine had one sibling, Joan Rauber, who spent most of her adult life raising a family in Illinois. It was during childhood that Elaine developed her attachment to the Yankee baseball team and adamantly insisted that her saying the rosary helped them win several pennants during her youth. Elaine graduated from Wayland Central High School, and from there she went on to Nazareth College to complete her BA degree as an English major. She was on the staff of the Nazareth College yearbook and later continued her talents in writing when she composed baseball write-ups in the Lima Recorder for the Red Willison Baseball League. Shortly after college, Elaine married John Pragle and had 4 kids, Becky, Jeff, Norm, and Chris. After 12 years of marriage, she divorced and continued to raise her kids in Lima as a single parent. Elaine eventually took a job as a central office manager for an apartment complex in Honeoye Falls for a housing company called Maison Management. This launched her career in the housing field. Here she was able to use her people skills, her organizational talents, and affable personality. She eventually worked at Gleason Estates in East Rochester, as well as a large 500-unit HUD housing development known as Phillips Village in Webster. Elaine made many friends along the way before landing a job of her dreams with the Rochester Housing Authority. She will forever be grateful for the deceased Donna Peterson for hiring her over numerous and other well-qualified candidates. Elaine was very well liked and respected as a supervisor, and she dealt with her employees, co-workers, and needy housing customers with respect and fairness. She fought 2 bouts of breast cancer at ages 60 and 70 and worked at the Rochester Housing Authority until she was 72 years old. She reinvented her life after a stroke at age 74. Jane Reed, her very good friend of 65 years from Natchez College, notes, quote, "In her long life, Elaine faced many challenges that would have sent most of us into such a defeated state that we could not go on. But she simply went on, forging ahead against incredible odds. She continued to savor life's joys and intricacies, and in the end, she prevailed. She is a portrait in courage and beloved as a non-judgmental, generous friend."
I don't do anything without an introduction.
Oh, okay. We're 2 people who played Taboo with Elaine once a month for the last several years. And this is Kathleen, and I'm Linda. And I'm doing this on behalf of Eugenia. Okay. Today is a fabulous day. Kalu Kale. Elaine's interests at times gravitated toward the eclectic. For example, her music taste ranged from marching band music to the rapper Eminem. Her obsession with reading, writing, and literature is quite known by those who knew her well. Her creative sense of humor often kept social circles buzzing. Put all these aspects of Elaine's personality together, and what do you get? An intriguing, unusual poem by a famous English author. Elaine would repeatedly try to get her kids, or at least Becky, to read and recite this poem when they were young. The following poem by Lewis Carroll is a lesson that it is possible to overcome the adversities we face, and to do it with a sense of humor, just like Elaine did.
What a delightful homegoing this is. Jabberwocky. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toes did gyre and jumble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome-rath outgrabe. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the jub-jub bird, and shun the frumious bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand. Long time the Manxan foe he sought. So rested he by the tum-tum tree, and stood a while in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, the Jabberwock, with eyes of flame, came whiffling through the tulgey wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through the vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy, O frabjous stay. Callooh, callay, he chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toes did gyre and jumble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome-raths outgrabe. Requiescat in pace. Thank you.
Our grandma would have us learn this while we were studying Shakespeare in school. So this is the To Be or Not to Be monologue from Hamlet.
To be or not to be, that is the question.
Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer,
The slings and arrows of outrageous fortune,
or to take arms against a sea of troubles.
and by opposing end them, to die, to sleep.
No more, and by a sleep to say we end.
The heartache and the thousand natural shocks,
The flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation
devoutly to be wished, to die, to sleep.
to sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub.
For those in sleep of death, what dreams may come,
When we have shuffled off this mortal coil
we must give pause. There's the respect.
that makes calamity of so long life. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to share a few words. I'm really disappointed that I wasn't able to be at the service today in person, but my parents asked if there was anything that my grandma had taught me or an impact that she had made on me that I specifically wanted to talk about. And it was really challenging just picking one thing that grandma had really imprinted on me or that she had really left as an impact on my life. And one of the things, and it's something so silly, but one of the things that she really always pushed on me and on Eli and all the other grandchildren, especially Noah and Eli and I, as she was helping to school us, was just memorization of just some of the silliest little things. So for me, she always pushed on me the Greek alphabet. And I remember every day when I would go in and I would meet with her, because we had like specific portions of our schoolwork that we did by ourselves, and then we would meet with mom for some of it, and then we would go in for grandma for like, usually spelling and Greek and Hebrew or whatever we were working on, and English stuff, because if you know Grandma, which I'm sure you all do, then you know how much she was a grammar Nazi. And so when we learned Greek, one of the things that she really wanted to stress was that we memorize the Greek alphabet. And I don't know if Eli or Noah remember the Greek alphabet at all, but I will never forget the Greek alphabet. So my parents wanted me to recite it, and I'm really excited to honor Grandma's memory by reciting it. So alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, eta, theta, iota, kappa, lambda, mu, nu, xi, omicron, pi, rho, sigma, tau, upsilon, phi, chi, psi, omega. Hey everyone, I just wanted to share a few words.
It's okay with the audience. Crazy about baseball. Will you stand still? Pick up your hat. Go pick up your hat. Okay. Now look. Then you'll go and peddle your popcorn and don't interrupt the act anymore? Yes, sir. All right. But you know, strange it may seem, they give ball players nowadays very peculiar names. Funny names? Nicknames, pet names. Not as funny as my name, Sebastian Dinwiddie. Oh, yes.
Funnier than that?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Now, on the St. Louis team, we have who's on first, what's on second. I don't know's on third.
That's what I want to find out. I want you to tell me the names of the fellas on the St. Louis team.
I'm telling you, who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
You know the fellas' names?
Yes.
Well, then who's playing first?
Yes.
I mean the fellow's name on first base.
Who?
The fellow playing first base for St. Louis.
Who?
The guy on first base.
Who is on first?
Well, what are you asking me for?
I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, who is on first?
I'm asking you who's on first.
That's the man's name.
That's whose name?
Yes.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
Who?
The guy on first.
Who?
The first base.
Who is on first?
Have you got a first baseman on first?
Certainly.
Then who's playing first?
Absolutely.
When you pay off the first baseman every month, who gets the money?
Every dollar of it. Why not? The man's entitled to it.
Who is?
Yes.
So who gets it?
Why shouldn't he? Sometimes his wife comes down and collects it.
Whose wife?
Yes. After all, the man earns it.
Who does?
Absolutely.
Well, all I'm trying to find out is what's the guy's name on first base?
Oh, no. What is on second base?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who's on first?
That's what I'm trying to find out.
Well, don't change the players.
I'm not changing nobody.
Take it easy.
What's the guy's name on first base?
What's the guy's name on second base?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who's on first?
I don't know.
He's on third. We're not talking about him.
How did I get on third base?
You mentioned his name.
If I mention a third baseman's name, who did I say is playing third?
No, who's playing first?
Stay off of first, will you?
Well, what do you want me to do?
Now, what's the guy's name on third base?
What's on second?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who's on first?
I don't know.
He's on third.
There I go, back on third again.
Well, I can't change their names.
Will you please stay on third base, Mr. Broadhurst?
Now, what is it you want to know?
What is the fella's name on third base?
What is the fella's name on second base?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who's on first?
I don't know. Third base. You got an outfield?
Oh, sure.
St. Louis has got a good outfield?
Absolutely.
The left fielder's name?
Why?
I don't know. I just thought I'd ask you.
Well, I just thought I'd tell you.
Then tell me who's playing left field.
Who is playing first?
Stay out of the infield.
Don't mention their names out here.
I want to know what's the fella's name in left field.
What is on second?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who is on first?
I don't know. Third base.
Oh, take it easy. Take it easy, man. It's okay with the audience.
Crazy about baseball.
It's okay with the audience.
Crazy about baseball.
It's okay with the audience.
Crazy about baseball.
So we're going to open up the mic to anyone who wants to tell a story or share a memory. We'll carry the mic around to you, so you can just stand up where you are, and I'll bring the mic over. Don't be shy.
Hi, my name's Janice, and I work with Elaine at RHA with all these fine people. I really need a mic, ever. So the one that reminds me of, and probably you grandkids might remember, did you ever play with a Fisher-Price castle? That Fisher-Price castle has a story, and it comes from RHA. One Christmas, when we used to do gift exchange, grandmother was adamant that she didn't want any stupid grab bag gift. She had what she wanted us to give her for Christmas. And she was into castles, you know, she liked her castles as much as balloons. And she wanted, that year came out the Fisher-Price castle. And that's what she wanted us to give her for Christmas. So we all collected money and we bought her the Fisher-Price castle so that the grandkids could play with it with her because that's what she wanted for Christmas. And that's where that castle came from.
So I'm actually Elaine Pragle Jr. And so we had the honor of having Mom in our home for 10 years. And she was a lot of fun. We had a lot of laughs. And I promised everybody in our family that we would tell the story, "My blanket is eating me." So she would come out to dinner every evening with us. And so this was very early, probably. We'd only been there for a few months. And so all three boys were still home. And we were gathered around the table, and she said very seriously, if you know her, she's really good at humor, not even a snitch of not being serious. "I have an announcement." And so everybody got very quiet. The kids got very quiet. We're all looking at her wondering what this announcement possibly be. And she said very seriously, "My blanket is eating me." And we said, "What?" She said, "My blanket is eating me." Well, it turns out that because she couldn't see well, her blanket kept moving sideways in her bed, and she was sure that it was growing. And so she said, "Well, but I can't have this blanket anymore. We're going to have to give it to the poor people." And I think it was Caleb who said, "Mom, you want to give a man-eating, Grandma, you want to give a man-eating blanket to the poor people?" So it was just a famous story. We had lots of them over the years that she was with us of funny things. I just want to mention one more. I know my kids and I, this has probably been the hardest thing for all of us, is every time we walk into her house, she would yell out from her room, "Come see me, I want to see your cute little faces. Come in and see me, I want to see your cute little faces." And so for us, when we now get home, we all miss her terribly when we don't hear that when we walk through the door.
Hi, I'm Ann Barber, and I made a list because I was thinking, you know, I knew this was coming up and I had like so many things going through my head, so I just had to make a list. Okay, so a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, actually it was February 15th, 1988, my first day at Rochester Housing Authority, and Elaine was my first office mate. At first she looked at me suspiciously. So I wasn't sure if it was because I was new or is it because I was a Mets fan. But this was the start of our long friendship. So I was laughing, Becky, when you were reading the list of things that she loves because a lot of it matched my list. I have family, number one, and this includes all of her friends too, because if you were Elaine's friend, you were also her family. The Yankees, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, balloons, grammar, of course, and books, and men wearing tool belts. Right. And then I just jotted down some memories and quotes because she used to say the funniest things and she just cracked me up. So she was the organizer of our Section 8 picnic. And before, you know, all the activity would be going on in the office before we went to the picnic. And people would be bringing food in and stuff for the picnic. And she used to come and she'd stand in the door and she would say, "I will not get hysterical." When we all got new typewriters one year, you know, the state-of-the-art wheel-writer typewriters. And Elaine says to me, "I'm not sure about this because I learned how to type on a wood-burning typewriter." She loved organizing our happy hours. We had a lot of great ones. I remember her birthday party at Becky's house. So one time, I think it was for like an entire summer, she and our coworker Jean Gallo got shipped out to University Tower while our building was being renovated. And so installed a bell on the outside of the building so that people who were coming to have an appointment with her would ring the bell. Well, everybody rang that bell. So she dubbed it the bell from hell. One time, I won tickets to go see the Chippendales dancers, and I brought Elaine with me. All right, I had a misguided World Series bet with she and Paul Lindsay for when the Mets played the Yankees, so that cost me lunch. Birthday cards filled with confetti. That's this year's birthday card, and it was filled with confetti. Becky's taco dip recipe, which my kids love and they bring to parties now. Yep. Her Christmas decorations, a Santa on the stick, because nothing says Christmas like an impaled Santa head. So we had a users conference for our software one time in New Orleans, and Elaine came along with us, and we shared a room, so we had a fun time. She got me hooked on Gone with the Wind because I had never seen it before, and she loaned me her video of it, and I watched it over and over again. I just loved it. And the Renaissance Fair, because until I met Elaine, I never even knew it existed. So, Elaine, rest in peace. We're going to miss you, and you got the best seat in the house now to see your Yankees.
Hi. Can you hear me? Okay. Sorry, I'm Tom Rader. I was a neighbor of Elaine, and I do have a special memory that I'm not used to getting up and speaking in front of people, but I just had to tell this one right there. That when I was younger, we used to have a pool, and above ground pool, and I don't know, can't remember, maybe like 5 years old or like that. But I was on the deck playing with some toys and stuff like that, and apparently the toy fell in the pool, and I had fallen in right there, tried to rescue it right there, and I had a hard time struggling getting out of the pool. And unexpectedly, that for some reason, Elaine had come home early that day, and she saw me struggling in the pool, and she quickly jumped out of that car and ran over there and pulled me out of the pool right there. So today, I thank her very much, and there's not a day that goes by that if I hear her name, I think of that memory. And growing up, she was like a surrogate mother for me. She was my babysitter. She was my den mother for scouts. She was the commissioner for Little League Baseball, which she enjoyed. And the best thing about that is we'd play baseball, and she would always write up the reports for every game. Mr. Cacmus would come over right there, and they'd go over the games right there, and she was the scorekeeper, and she kept all the coaches in line right there and kept them organized. And she'd write up a little report on every game. Now, being a lineman recorder right there, you only had a brief little paragraph per game right there, but it was great to see your name, that you got a hit, you got the winning run, you made the final out right there. So it was great the way she just wrote it up like a sportscaster. And so I missed her terribly. I thank her very much. She's, like I said, she's my babysitter. She was my den mother, my scout, my lifesaver, and most importantly, she saved my mother from a broken heart. So thank you.
Tommy, I just have to say, my mom told this story not too long ago about some other kid who she wrote up in the newspaper, and she said, "Gosh, Mrs. Pragle, I know I played in the game, but I had no idea how exciting it was until I read your article in the newspaper."
So I'm Becky's friend from high school, from middle school, from forever ago, little school. And my favorite memory, and one that always meant a lot to me, and when I think about Becky's mom, I always think about this. I always had the car. So when we got to that age, I always had the car. We always played softball together, and we piled a bunch of girls in the car and we went off. And the funny thing about letting your kid go out in the car with another kid is you're always worried, what the heck are they doing? And Mrs. Pragle would always say, Becky, and I'm not sure I got the words right, remember who you are. And I don't know what it meant to Becky, but it always said something to me too. It's like, oh, we got to be on the straight and narrow here. But literally, I can remember driving up the driveway, Beck would get in, Mrs. Pragle would come out, she'd tell us this, and it happened over and over, and I remember it like it was yesterday. And it's a great memory.
So I just wanted to share a quick memory that I had of my grandma. And I still wish I could have done it in person, and I wish that I could have told her how much in retrospect that it's meant to me. But every single night since my freshman year of college, Grandma has texted me and said, good night, and I love you, or good night, and I miss you. And I just look back over the text right now, and it was every single night for about 3.5 years. And it was just little things too, where it would be like, I sent you some cookies in the mail, good night, I miss you, I love you, or Noah got in trouble doing this, or Eli and Mercedes were visiting this, or whatever it was. She was always so on it every single night, telling me how her day was. She went to dinner with the retirees, fireys, whatever it was. She always shared a piece of her life with me, and I always did my best to share a piece of my life back with her. I know that when I was at college, I was not good about replying to her messages. I kind of took what she was doing for granted, and I was in college, so I was just having fun and failing a couple of my classes and then trying to not fail a couple of my classes, which was fun. And so I just got really distracted, but when I left college and she continued it is when it started to really mean something to me, and I was seeing how much that she loved and cared about me. And so every single night for 3.5 years up until obviously just recently, she would be faithful to say how much she missed me, how much she loved me, and that I would have a good night and sweet dreams, or whatever it was that she would say. And I was just looking back over the text right now, and over the last 3 or 4 months as I moved out to Arizona, and she was getting more busy, she wasn't able to do it every single night, but she was super excited that I was moving out to Arizona and that I was kind of continuing with my life, and that things were starting to really get better for me. And so she wanted to see my apartment that I got, and she wanted to just know everything that was going on. And I called her a few times in Arizona, and she sent me cookies, and she wanted to make sure I got them. And then she sent me bed sheets, and she wanted to make sure that I got them and they were the right color. And so I sent her a picture of my bed, and I had been sleeping on just a mattress for like a month and a half because I just hadn't gotten around to getting a bed frame yet. And so she was so happy that I got a bed frame, and the last thing she ever said to me was that she was glad I finally got it. I was hoping you would have the money for your shopping trip to Vegas, and then she wanted to know what I bought. And she was so funny, she forgot that she turned on caps lock, so the entire message is just all caps, like she's shouting at me what I bought at Vegas. And so I texted her back, and I let her know what I got. And And then that was it. I think I called her the next day to just talk about it. But when I think about Grandma, the fact that she did that for so long really sticks out to me. Because it really, to me, shows Grandma's character better than anything that I could come up with in a story. That she loved her kids and grandkids so much that she wanted to send a good night text every single night for 3.5 years to me. And it's weird being back in New York where I'm recording this. Unfortunately, I have to fly out the day of the service, so I'm not going to be able to be there for it. But it's weird being here and having her not here. I walked in after going out with some friends, and I was the only one home, so I walked in, and I was used to just shouting out, "Grandma, I'm home," and she would go, "Let me see your little face," every single time. So it's been really, really challenging not having her here. But Grandma was amazing, and I really miss her, and I hope to see her again one day, and I hope that you all had the pleasure of knowing her and seeing the love that she had as much as I did. Thank you. So I just wanted to share.